We are live, new studio, new location, new guests. This is John D. Villarreal show, and it is Sunday, right around 6:30, and we are talking with Umar Khan and Rafael Moden. I hope I pronounced that right. If not, you can adjust it a little bit. Go ahead. Well, you know what? This is easier. Why don't we do this? Why don't you introduce yourselves? Umar, you go first, and then Rafael, you go. Tell me who you are, what you do, and then I'll set the rest of the show up. Go ahead.
All right, sounds good. John, thanks so much for having us. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
And, you and I have had a lot of conversations,
And if you don't know, strap in because, sit tight. This show could get hot. This show could get super caliente. This is out of control. And we're talking about Miami Tech, bubble or not. That was Rafael came up with that. It was a joint. It was kind of a joint little idea there, and I think it's great. So I'll zip it. So I'm just telling you, if you're seeing this, later, believe me. You'll see little intros here. Get ready. I already feel it. I'll zip it. Go ahead, Umar.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I love the title, by the way. That was a great name. So we're just here to talk about what's been going on in the city of Miami. Obviously, it's a big, huge tech movement, a lot of hype. And for me, I sort of lived through it. I made a pivot into the tech space early 2021.
Just set the table real quick, and we're going live to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook right now, and obviously you can see this later as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, but your family's lived in the Miami area for quite some time. I think you're lifelong, a 305, right? And your family has businesses. I don't want to say too much, but just set that table. It's not like you just came to Miami like 6 minutes ago. You've been. Go ahead, tell me what's up.
Yeah. I was born and raised here, American Senior High School in Hialeah, Florida, class of 2005.
Nice.
I did my undergrad at FIU. I did my MBA at Nova, and I did a fintech certificate at UM. So, I'm about as South.
You're deep into it, dude.
South Florida for sure.
South Florida, and now you're a blockchain analyst with Markham Technology. And like you said, you did that pivot. I mean, you kind of your story is amazing. And I don't want to bore it. We'll talk more about you and me later, whatever. That's a great story too. But I don't want to delay the show for that yet. But you're someone that I saw and I really respect because you just hustled so hard over the last year. You went from like zero, right? You went to every I'm sure there's always too many conferences, but you were in conferences all the time. You did the blockchain thing. You went from real estate. You did a hard pivot, and now you're at a great firm. You're flying out to Austin. You're flying out to all these different places, and you're living the dream, bro.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it, man. Again, thanks for the kind words. But yeah. And it all started because I was sipping the Kool-Aid, right? Miami Tech.
You were, and we got into a little bit on that. You were. I'm glad you said that. You were.
Like who wasn't trading tech stocks and crypto during the pandemic? But for me, it's like, all right, I'm done. Obviously the trading's going well, but I want to learn it. I want to learn more of the technical stuff and.
And we're not giving any financial advice, any other kind of advice. Everything you do is your own risk, of course. Go ahead. So, but you wanted to learn it. You wanted to know what's up.
So it began with the hype. I sipped the Kool-Aid, then I went out and studied it, and now I'm knee deep in the blockchain space, and I love it.
And now you're doing the very, very legit stuff, in my opinion. You're doing stuff with the Government Blockchain Association. Both of you guys are members of that. Markham Technology, obviously, Riot, everything. You're doing a lot. There's a lot of different things going on. So we'll come back to you on that, Umar. Rafael, talk to me about what's going on. You do a lot of different things. You got venture capital. Go ahead, set the table. Tell me what's up.
Yeah. So, no, I appreciate this, John. I love the enthusiasm. Umar, Umar and I, we go back. We're blockchain boys, right? We met through the industry. And it's one of those things you kind of find, I always say your vibe finds your tribe, right? And so you got people that I think it might have been Seth Godin was one of the first people that said something to that effect. But you got people that you meet and you're like, all right, cool. They're here for the trading. They're here for the crypto. They're here for the unicorns, right? They're here for the 10X, 100X. That's cool. I'm a dad, right? My LinkedIn profile says husband, father, Web3, right? This is what I do. I don't have another choice because my daughter is 2. Based on technology, she's going to live to be 100 and something years old. Right now, we are about to hand our children a dumpster fire. Just straight up garbage, right? Nothing but hate and lack and fear and division. Those are the things that I don't see, right? I'm out there meeting people like Umar. I'm meeting people like you. I'm connected with people that say, look, there is hope in the future. right? We just got to give people the tools. And what I saw
Yeah.
in blockchain was the ability to run those tools out as far to the margins as fast as possible. Because before we had to, build roads and run cable and run pipe to bring people food, clothing, water, and shelter, right? We can bring people the basics now in a distributed fashion. And when we can do that, and then we give them the basics, and then we give them education, you tell me anybody on the planet that you give them a little bit of something, they got that hustle in them, period. Look at what they do in other countries, man. They all have the hustle. There's nothing about where we're born. The only thing that says where we're born is how long we live. Right now, we can get it all. We can get it all. GBA, how do we speak in DC the same way as we speak in Miami, as we speak in Kansas City? Because it's what's the tool that we need now. Miami, they got a lot going for them. But I think some of it, we need to take some of the stuff off the piñata, just give out the candy. That doesn't have to be a wrapper. We just got to let people know. I'm Mexican, not a Cuban, just to clarify. So, my analogies might be a little more analog to Mexico than to Cuba. But, I spent a lot of time in Miami. I was there for Art Basel. I was there for the Multicoin Capital Summit. I was just down there last week for the Coinbase event. I'm up in Tampa. South Florida has the weather, and it's bringing people there because it's affordable. But, I think Miami, they've got some growing to do, and there's going to be some pains if you want to continue to expand in blockchain as fast as they have.
So a couple of things. I mean, and again, we love and respect everybody, and I'm half Mexican myself, born in Texas. Yep, absolutely. So,
Viva
and
Mexico.
I think, say again.
Viva Mexico.
Sure, absolutely. And I think, man, I miss that food. I can tell you that. I'm trying to find the, I'm trying to find some great Mexican restaurants around here. But anyway, I think that, and here's the thing. I think people, oh, John, you're a hater. I'm not a hater. I'm just, come on. I'm not a hater.
Pragmatist. I tell people, I'm
yeah,
a pragmatist.
right.
I just sound mean.
Well, here's,
John, you're a guy from the Bay Area. I mean,
right.
you were there for the .com.
Right.
There was probably some similar hype back then. I mean, you lived it, so.
I did, and this is the thing, is right. That's exactly it. And I I don't want to be one of those people where it's like, oh, when I was a kid, 50 miles in the snow, whatever. Although I did trek in the snow, I did live on a farm, and believe me, there was some reality to some of those stories, at least for this kid, in Western Pennsylvania. Believe me, I think. I don't want to be one of those people, right? I don't want to be like, oh, if Silicon Valley is no one else. I mean, so I agree with what Raphael said, and so there's two things, and this is my thing. One is, look, there's talent and there's deals everywhere. Absolutely, 100%. There's opportunity everywhere. I do think that there is a unique kind of vibe and competitive advantage to Miami with the gateway to Latin America and Caribbean. That is very, very real, no doubt about it. Also, just from a lifestyle play, there's a lot of people that are kind of, that those entrepreneurial, the Silicon Valley type entrepreneurial, or the influencers that can be anywhere, and why not be in Miami, right? But I also think that Puerto Rico is also playing an angle on that, right? I mean, we see that with blockchain and crypto and some of the influencers as well. I mean, the problem when you play that game, I mean, Miami kind of reminds me a little bit more of Vegas and LA, and I think they're trying to push tech hard, but I think to this day, in my opinion, that area still runs mostly on celebrity and travel tourism, right? I mean, I think that's the top currency is really that celebrity angle there. But so my thing is, so here's what's good and bad and for what I see. I think that, as I posted, and you probably saw this, Uber, and you texted me, it's like, I called the hype over for Miami Tech. I did. I called it. I said it's done. And there's a number of reasons for that. I don't know how. I mean, I've been very cautious over the last year not to name names and not to get into the specifics or get anything personal or whatnot. But there was probably 2 or 3 or 4 things that happened, and I already was feeling it anyway. I'm like, yeah, this is done. And you could see the velocity of posts of we're the best, and we just raised it, just kind of slowed down. And then there was a number of things that happened. It's like, the market started tanking in certain sectors. people moving around a little bit, some different things happening. And I'm like, okay, some people putting out, again, I'll get, if you guys get specific, I'll get specific, believe me. So I'll let you
I can do that.
Go ahead.
I was there for Art Basel.
Go ahead.
Or NFT Basel.
It's going to get hot. I feel it.
Yeah. So I had a friend who spoke on stage, Vritti Shroff. She's the founder of K20. And she spoke at NFT Basel. And, that was a party, right? There was hype. People were selling stuff. I watched people dropping ETHs on NFTs right there, right? Airdropping like amongst people, which to me was weird because I don't keep anything crypto on my phone and I don't bring my laptop when I come to Miami because there's too much crypto stuff. I just don't even bring it. So
right.
I was like, all right. I was there last week. Coinbase did an event with Creativo at the Alexander All Suites right there on the oceanfront. And big Coinbase event, there was probably a couple hundred people there, right? Everybody COVID safe and tested and vaxxed and whatever you need. But afterwards, right, the people that were outside that were chatting, right? You step outside, it was a little bit raining, which was, kind of unreal for Miami. So everybody was inside. It was supposed to be outside, so it felt a little more intimate. But you walked outside, the people just weren't as energized as they were 90 days ago. And we all know that if this is the first time you had to huddle hard when it hurts, your 101 classes are now over. Okay, we're into the MBA stuff. If you aped in at the end of last year because you here to make money, oh man, this is going to hurt because you're about to learn.
Right? Exactly. And I'll throw vibe. Yeah,
I don't think that's necessarily. Sorry, I'm going to just.
You're good.
This. I don't think that's necessarily just because of the market. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that NFTs were the first entree that people saw of how I can get into crypto in a way that I understand, right? A profile picture or a JPEG or an image or a video game. Now that people are in and they're like, cool, there's value to this. Now they're starting to realize there's 1,000 other things that are actually bigger, harder, better problems that we can solve rather than the profile picture problem.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the thing. Here's the good and the bad. And for me, I think that there's a real community. There's a real energy. There really is a really strong community in Miami. I think that's cool. I think there's a lot of energy and excitement. I think that Mayor Suarez and his team, although I gotta be careful. Well, maybe I don't. But I think that there's someone I met on Mayor Suarez's team that seems to be pretty cool, in my opinion. It's all my opinion. But the rest of his team, I don't get it. I really don't. And I'm just going to tell you that right now. He was cool to me and whatever. And maybe, I walk away and all that, John, is whatever. You know what I mean? And that's fine. But at least to my face, he's a good politician. Fine. And I've been around politicians a long time. But it's anytime it goes to I'll talk, and then he was supposed to be on the show, right? And come on the show, don't come on. It doesn't matter to me. I'm sure it's not going to do anything for him. It's not going to do anything for me. It doesn't really matter. You want to come on, come on. You don't want to come on, don't come on. But don't tell me you're going to come on. And then all of a sudden it starts getting punted to this aid, then to this aid. And then and somehow when it hits the communication, we just never hear from them. And it's dude, it's not a big deal. Just tell me, hey, you know what? I don't want to come on. Or, hey, you know what? Your show's not big enough. Or, hey, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt my feeling. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine, dude. You know what I mean? You know what the people, and again, as I always say, and I'll say it again, I'm nobody. I just know a lot of people and know a lot of things. I'm nobody, right? But
I like that.
That's you can. Yeah, it's great. And it's because it's fine. But it's dude, my life and my show is not made by interviewing Mayor Suarez. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. I've interviewed people that are way, I've got, but believe me, okay? Presidents, okay? Not that I've interviewed them, but I've met multiple presidents. I'm cool. I'm okay. And that doesn't mean anything either. It doesn't matter, dude. It's fine. It's totally fine. But here's the thing. You've got a Silicon Valley vet. You've got someone that worked at the best law firm, okay, in the best department for venture capital, who has met Sand Hill Road, who was in a venture fund with the former CEO of Apple, and you can't even come on the show. I can't even get these people to return my emails. I can't even get people to add me to LinkedIn. Capital, how can I help? Do you want to know what a joke that is, dude? Now you got me going, dude. See? So I knew you guys are safety's off. Go ahead.
All right, here's my main issue with the whole thing, right? you're out there, and you know the promo's great. Look, I sipped the Kool-Aid; it worked wonders for me, right? But if you look at what rent prices look like in Miami right now,
That's where I'm going too, because I'm not. And again, this isn't personal. This isn't personal at all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like I mean, I'm fine. This is if it's happening to me, it's It's probably symptomatic of other things going on. Go ahead.
So you know you're out there pumping this headline and this agenda, and there's consequences to that. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You're attracting all these tech people, which is great, you know, but our public transportation sucks.
Terrible.
There's been no infrastructure discussions, none of that.
Dude, I lived ostensibly 30 minutes from Miami. If I'm not going the highway, it's an hour and a half to get there every single time.
And then B, like, how real is this? Like, somebody's got to dig into these numbers. I was in the tech job market in Miami just a few months ago.
Right.
I went through it. So there's tons of people that you're hyping up, students and all that. But I know they had like one big
job fair. Everything was almost entry. I was there. Everything. That's where I saw Suarez. Everything was almost entry level.
I started at Markham, so I didn't go. And I don't know, like, how real is this? Are there real tech, blockchain, data science, AI jobs out there? Like, what do these numbers really look like? It's just, I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like it's adding up. Rent's going way up. And then on top of that, who's really benefiting from this?
Right.
Is this an inclusive movement or?
Yeah. Question mark.
You know?
Question mark.
That argument holds then as a devil's advocate here. But I'm in agreement with all you guys that any and all Web3 hype is still hype no matter where it's at, right? Unless you tell me you're working in digital identity or, you know, something where we're helping people somewhere for sure on the ground first. That's your first thing. Everything is a little bit of hype, but that's part of the sell, right? Silicon Valley, very, very similar thing, right? How are we saying we're bringing people there, we're bringing the jobs? Well, you know, a lot of these people that are investing in these companies, they're leaving other tech companies that they were just at. So that didn't create a new job, right? That was a net zero gain of those jobs. The other thing is most people who are not in this, well, Mary, here's a perfect example. When did you start learning about blockchain? When was the first time you Googled blockchain? Just out of curiosity, it was probably in less than the last 2 years, right?
Right.
Okay, so to go from 2 years to working in the industry, that required full-blown commitment from you in terms of school and skilling. Mm-hmm. A lot of these politicians or the people who are in this are recognizing that there's capital there, there's tax, there's hype, there's people, there's visibility. Suarez is great, you know.
Potential donors.
He's going to run for the big P, right?
Good luck with that. He has zero chance. Zero chance. Zero chance. Book it right here. I'm not a hater. I'm just telling you. Zero chance. I'm a political expert. I'm telling you, he has no chance. He was trying to fill that Nikki Haley lane and VP Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley has zero chance. Mayor Suarez has zero chance in the next election cycle. 2024, zero chance. Luika's lifetime in politics, no chance on the Republican side. Now, if you want to switch to Democrats, they'll have you, you know, maybe. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Rafael.
No, that's okay. But it does kind of bring up a certain point to me. It's like, we need better people having more substantive conversations where it matters, because what we're not seeing are the jobs. Dr. Paul Lefebvre, who is the president for SNHU, talks about how it's great if we want to get people a 4-year degree. But the problem is some of these people have 6 months and they're making $12, and they're not going to go from a $12 job to having an undergrad degree in 4 years and making a difference. What I want $25, $55, and $100 an hour jobs. And you could have those in blockchain. The problem is, where do you find the skills? Because right now it's about the hype. Get a token, raise some money. I'm like, okay, wait, raise the money. What are we doing? There's a lot of money being raised. It's not being spent conscientiously, is my thought. You know, I'm on the board of directors for the Minnesota Blockchain Initiative. Cool. And our goal here, we had Rep. Tom Emmer speak at our last event in October before I actually ran out to Silicon Valley. Okay. These guys are talking about how do we put jobs for the people that may lose jobs as tech continues to do what it does, right? It's a race to make things easy. Right. As people's jobs get turned into software, how do we take those people and we make sure that they're not left out? Because what's happening is there's a lot of money being made, but it's not made by the people who are going to need it in the next 5 years. That's my concern.
Go ahead. Okay, so let me try to lay out some of the thinking here, because sometimes things are in my head, or I've posted on LinkedIn and I forget to kind of set the table right on the show. And I'll just give me like 3-4 minutes and I'll let you guys respond. My problem with the Miami Tech thing is this: way too much hype, and everything that they were touting, NFTs, metaverse, AR, crypto. It was all the super hypiest, brand newest, shiny object out there. Yes, do some of those things get? Silicon Valley does everything. So saying the Silicon Valley does it doesn't, and I'm not saying you, Raphael, but it's just in general, doesn't mean anything, because Silicon Valley also does Intel semiconductors and iPhones and biotech and Genentech and everything else. Real hard science, and they have Stanford there and Berkeley there and UCSF on the medical side. I mean, they have heavy weights, world class universities and everything else, and they have a track record. And so the thing is with Silicon Valley is you don't have a politician that's like, let me put it another way. I mean, do you feel? And I'll ask this question rhetorically because I got to set a couple other things up before I forget. I mean, it's a weird thing when I had people coming to me in VCs, hey, can you get me, and other people, can you get me a meeting with Suarez? Can you get me, like when you feel, if there's a question that maybe you need a meeting with the mayor to get in the tech scene here, that's kind of weird.
Right?
That's super weird, right?
It's an odd gatekeeper.
It's an odd gatekeeper. And why? And the fact that there is a gatekeeper is also problematic, right? Because you do not have that. I can piss someone off in Silicon Valley and I'm still okay, right? There's not like someone that's going to make a call and shut me down everywhere. I mean, who knows? I mean, I have some other, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But I think, it's just not.
How many VC tech deals are actually even happening?
Right, that's what I'm saying, dude. I mean, and here's the thing. So I was at this job fair. Everything was like entry level. And listen, that's fine. You want to help out, like, University of Miami and Miami-Dade College and FIU. That's fine. That's okay. I'm not against it. But then, like I talked to this. I don't want to get too specific, but I talked to this recruiter and talked to this company, and I felt like I had a pretty good chance for this thing, whatever like that. But I was gonna have to show up physically, and like it was like 50, 60. Maybe I was like, dude, I'm like, listen, I mean, if I would have stayed in law, I've got some of my peers that are making a lot more and whatever. Like, but I mean, right now, today, depending on the industry, because, I can do a lot of different things, everything from talk radio, TV to, sales and law and blah, blah, blah. Depending on where I land, it's going to be 200 to 500 pretty much, if I get the right thing. I can always take the wrong job or enter something strategic, whatever. Oh, that's quite a range. I'm like, well, no, if I do this, it's boom, 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 boom. And surprise, I just made a move, and I don't want to get too specific, but let's just say I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident in things that I may have said before, and massively multiples of what that range was. And it was just like, it's a joke. So again, if that's your tech hub, as you said, Umer, now rents are going up 20, 30, 50%. It's the number one rent increases in the country, 50% rent increases. So now your mayor, less than 3% of your workforce is in tech. And in terms of added jobs, I think NBC Miami had a report, it was like 300 net new jobs or something like that. You don't believe it's funny that when it's NBC, all of a sudden the hype stops, right? When it's a local news station, reputable, all of a sudden we don't have these 50,000 thousands of jobs and all these little posts and stuff like that. And my problem is and there's just, like you said, it's 20 or 30 people. It's on the inside and they all show up. It's always happy hours. Pitch competitions always seem to happen in clubs. Right, I've never seen more pitch competitions in nightclubs. I've never been to a pitch competition. I've never seen a pitch competition in a nightclub, but I see them all the time here. It's bizarre. I have VCs that are talking about, and I don't say that in quotes. I have VCs that are talking about, I've got my perfect office, and it's wow, your LPs must be so happy that you built your perfect office. That must be adding massive value that you spent however long you spent to make your perfect office with the pool table, with the lights and stuff like that. The funds are getting raised through SPACs, and now those are all question marks. It's always these weird things, these weird structures, in my opinion. And that's like, and other people, and like, listen, it's fine.
You have to question how much is even getting done, because okay, I look at my sample. Like, John, you've been on calls with, who I'm working with, right?
Oh yeah.
So they're everyone's in DC, everyone's in Cali, everyone's in New York, and I'm like the only one who's in Miami. So like, based on my own experiences, it's like, hold on, like, there's a whole lot of hype going on, but I don't really see much. Like, and I'm talking in the blockchain space, other than NFT hype.
Well, and here's the thing too, and I don't want to like beat my own, toot my own horn and stuff. But that's the thing. Like, you could say John Villarreal is like a clown or whatever. He's nobody. Everything. But you know some of the people that I know, Umer, and you know how serious they are and how serious they take me. Because once again, it's my saying. I may be nobody, but I know a lot of people and I know a lot of things. So it's like, okay. So if I'm saying people are listening. Certain very important people sometimes are listening to some of the things I've said, and I've had a conversation with someone that was pretty high up and said, John, you've got a better read on this than you thought. Even you and I mean, I don't want to put you on blast, but I mean, you're like, how long have you been in Miami? Like, it's pretty crazy that I had this all figured out. So like, it just doesn't take long because I know what's real. It's just like if I go into a gym right now, I can't lift anything, but I was a 4-time national champion, took 3rd in the world, right? I can see who's strong, who's not strong, who's lifting right, what a gym looks like, whatever, because I just have that experience, right? It doesn't take me long to figure that out.
Right. You pattern match. You can see
right, yeah.
Models, right? Charlie Mungle. You see what you see. I think the thing is this, and we can argue all day long that there's jobs being created somewhere, right? We all know people who've gotten them. Umer, in defense of the argument here, you did get a job there in the space, right? And it wasn't
but by himself, by his own work.
Yeah,
it wasn't any of these happy hours. It wasn't an event in a club.
Didn't get at 11? Umer, you didn't interview at 11 when you got your job?
I didn't meet the recruiter in Wynwood.
In Wynwood, right? Where's your interview? Brickell? What time? 11:30 at night? Weird. Okay.
He hung out at Mansion and got a hot job.
I think what they did is the people who were telling the narrative, right? They were telling the story about Miami, hot tech. There's a lot going on. A lot of it is in art. A lot of it is in the things.
That's totally fine. It makes sense. I get it.
I think they didn't label it correctly. I think they just called it general tech hype, going to be the next Silicon Valley. It very well may, right? It's people have priced themselves out of that market. The difference is, I think what people need to understand is that the jobs and the hype is in a specific vertical of crypto, of blockchain. Right?
Yeah, I believe that.
There's not a ton of AI. There's not. If you would told me that Miami is #1 NFT hotspot, lifetime, best parties, best money raised, all of these drops are there all day long, I'm going to believe you 100%.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That it's the next tech mecca. I look at places
or the
like
capital of capital, and not just tech mecca,
Tampa.
Tech and finance and influencers and everything, social capital.
They're all there.
It really hit me when I went to Austin.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, whoa.
Right.
This is what they're talking about.
Right. Real stuff. And guess what? Austin is like number 10, right? Out of tech hubs. So Austin's not even in the top 5 of tech hubs. And and I lived in Austin. Austin's a real deal. But exactly. I'll say a couple more things before I forget. The other problem is so I have a problem with this with the it doesn't feel inclusive. It feels to me like not so much how can you help, but what do you bring? It doesn't feel inclusive when you have 20 or 30 people who seem to be like buddies and always going to the same thing and writing the same article gets written by 5 different publications, right? And it's the same thing. I don't need to see glamour shots of VCs and stuff like that. Like, again, what does that do for me? Like, if you do one profile, it's crazy, dude. It's like if you do one profile piece, but I mean, how many more pictures can we see of like what does that do? Like, I don't get. And here's the other thing. If you're gonna hype up, if you're gonna act like you're a newsletter or a web source or any kind of thing that is newsworthy covering the tech scene, if it's always just positive, and always just hype, and you don't cover the negative, or you don't cover the questions, or you don't, you're not, then maybe you're not really news. Maybe you're something else, right? Are you hype? Are you cheerleading, or is it something else, right? In my opinion. But the thing I would say too is so I feel like they really missed an opportunity, massive opportunity. I think there was a Miami moment, right, to be more inclusive, and they weren't inclusive. This became for Miami, the people that are there, the people that are leading it. It became a little political because of just you can't help it because it was led by mayor, right? Mayor of that team, that Venture Miami team, which is also, I mean, in some ways cool, in some ways very weird, right? And again, who's this Venture Miami team? Like, I mean, if you were to, and I don't want to be a punk, but if you were to take anyone out of that Venture Miami team on their own, are they some heavyweight? Heck no, not even close. I couldn't even pick them out of a lineup. I don't even know their name, dude.
Yeah, but
I
what does
mean,
it take to be a heavyweight these days? The industry's only 10 years old, right? Even the people with OGs have only been in this twice as long as I have, right? Like you've been in here since the beginning. I got in way late and not in the same way, and I've been here half as long. Like to me, the question is more. I see more representation in the people because it used the mediums of art and music, which tend to be people that are further down the economic ladder. Now, the people who buy and consume are still those same people, right? The article just came out. It was Masari and somebody else about the amount of wash trading on OpenSea. You know, they trace the wallets, right? We can tell. That's the beauty of blockchain. I think we can tell that there's only certain people making moves in Miami. What I will say is
very limited, and somehow always intersects real estate.
Correct.
Somehow always intersects real estate.
Sitting there. You got billions of dollars sitting there. I think the problem is we're asking politics of Miami to solve a problem that only people can solve.
Right.
Politics can only solve certain problems. People can only solve certain problems. But in this country, we have a very big confusion from the people as to what the politics should be helping us with.
Here's the other thing I'll say real quick, because I got to get this on the table, and I know you guys are tight on time, so I'll give you the rest of the time to do whatever you want, and I'll jump in if need be. So those are the problems that I have. There was two more things I have to say. One is there was just swagger about the Venture Miami team, but I don't want to get specific. I don't want to look like a hater. I don't want to name people. I'm just saying, look at that entire team and just see for those positions, if any of them could get anything close to that kind of job or position in Silicon Valley or somewhere, or Austin, I think it might be a challenge. I'm just saying it might be a challenge, but there was this swagger like, oh, we know everything. The people that are against us are haters. These are counter narratives. It's like everything's PR. Like, dude, it's not PR, okay? I mean, FIU is not Harvard. I'm sorry. FIU is not Berkeley or Stanford. It's just not.
For video games. Don't they say it's the Harvard for video games? But I thought that was wholesale.
Oh, geez. I don't know. Jeez. I don't know. But I mean, and then the other aspect, and this is super huge. This is super critical. And it's happening all over the place. But I think that Miami, because it's in Florida, massively missed its moment, particularly because you did have this led by a mayor who is a Republican, who is a politician. People were coming to Florida not for a tweet, bro. They weren't coming for your how can I help? And first of all, we got kicked off by Dylan Asperoff, not you. So you responded. So let's be clear. People came because a dude from Founders Fund said, hey, let's go to Miami. They didn't come for you. Okay. Now listen, credit where credit's due. Great response. He puts himself together. Yeah, he did a lot of it. I've said that. I'll say it to his face. I've said so. I give massive credit on that. So no, I mean, I've never seen a politician respond and react to me so very businesslike. So a lot of credit there. So I'm not disputing that at all. But a big missed moment because the opportunity was because Florida was open, and that was DeSantis. And that's other politicians that Suarez has come out against or has had issues with and stuff like that.
This because they not only came here, they came to Tampa, and we're gonna
talk about Tampa. No, we're gonna talk about Tampa another way. But I just want to throw this last part on it. So they came because it was open, and the opportunity was for a open, non-woke, if you will, or let me put another non-left.
There's a lot of truth to that. You can say
right?
it exactly like that. People went there because it was open and non-woke. I think that's a very fair statement because the opposite of that was closer to true. California was much closer towards what others would call draconian, and there were some rules and stuff that people were looking to avoid. A large number of people moving there.
Elon Musk said that, and a bunch of other people, and NYC, and look at Chicago.
Off to Austin.
Right, and so I'll say this, and I promise I'll say it. So the point is that was the move, that was the energy. If you really wanted to cap this off and be the capital of capital, if you really want to do it, you would have made it inclusive, and you would have made sure that not so much that it had to be anti-left, but at least had space for people that weren't on the hard left. But instead, what was pushed, in my opinion, what was pushed and what the people that were promoted, the people that were celebrated, the things that were put out there was left. From, I mean, I could go on down the list of all the things we were going to do. People that maybe didn't have any experience in VC before, maybe didn't have as much experience in tech, but hey, they had a cause. And it was part of that. I mean, it's like, dude, it was indistinguishable from anything I would have seen in Silicon Valley or DC or New York City. So what's the raison d'etre? Why would I be in Miami? When the rents start going up, when things aren't there, you don't have the infrastructure. I'm going to pop smoke just like I pop smoke somewhere else because there's no difference now. When everything opens up, how does Miami sustain? And that's part of why I made that call, because it's almost over, buddy. It's almost over. And there is limited there. You haven't been inclusive, in my opinion. You haven't had any, you can't, I challenge anybody. Show me one deal, one company. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. Show me one. No, I don't want to make it too hard. Show me 5. Because I can tell you 10 on the left right now. Show me 5 deals that you would consider either on the right, because you can look at Austin and you can look at Black Rifle Coffee. You can see Elon Musk is there. He's maybe libertarian. You can see a bunch of other podcasters. I don't want to get into politics. I've been trying to avoid that, but you can see a lot of stuff happening in Austin that is on the right or at least center right. But you can't find one of them here that's brand new, that came here to Miami and was promoted by Venture Miami or Mayor Suarez, and he's a Republican, and the dude thinks he's going to get the presidential nomination. You're out of your mind. It's never going to happen, brother. Never going to happen. So enjoy that mayor of Miami, because you're going to be sitting there for a while. That's your office. And oh, by the way, you know what? For someone that's a master of politics, great. You got 20,000 votes versus DeSantis. You're going to punk out DeSantis? DeSantis got millions of votes, bro. Let me stop look it up right now. I may be wrong. But I mean, you think you know better than DeSantis, bro? I mean, it's crazy. And listen.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
I got a question on this. So the narrative.
Sorry, right, bro. You got me going.
No, it's okay. It's because these conversations need to happen. I think that's the other thing that we're not seeing in this. There's not as much substantive conversation. There's not as much civil discourse. There's too much of somebody getting mad at somebody else because someone is wearing a thin piece of tissue paper in front of their mouth and someone else is not. Now, if I told my grandmother when I was a child, I walked up to her and I said, Grandma, I'm mad because somebody is either wearing or not wearing a piece of paper over their mouth, my grandmother would hit me in the mouth, because she would be like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, that you're willing to argue about that. Let's leave it alone. Be a grown-up. Okay? I get that, right? There's a lot of stuff people are arguing about that has no substance whatsoever.
Okay, I don't want to talk anything about the current stuff. Right? Yeah. I'm not a public health expert.
Right.
We're not saying anything. Right.
I'm just saying that the argument is between something arbitrary.
Okay.
I think what happened is Metcalfe's law, right? A lot of people that went to Texas tended to be on one side. A lot of people that went to Florida tended to be on the other. The issue for me is when the hype wasn't as inclusive as we would have liked, and the narrative was blockchain or tech rather than crypto and NFTs. Because I think if they would have focused on what they did so well, they do the party part of crypto so much better than anybody else. No,
100%. I mean, Miami has the best.
Miami did what it did. Miami is good looking. Miami was the good looking part of crypto, and it tried to say
$1,000,000%.
The blue the blue blood, VC side. No, you guys are great. You guys are the party of crypto and VC, and money will flow there and jobs will flow there. It's just, how do we put them in front of the right people so that they can find them and actually make a difference for those people whose rent's going to go up? That's my argument. How do we bring the jobs? Tampa is doing a really good job of saying,
Tampa's the stuff.
Jobs here.
Tampa's the stuff.
Tampa's like, we're affordable. We're trying not to bring too much money in. We're trying not to bring too much hype.
Is getting out of hand too, honestly.
Oh, it is too, right? It is.
They're more inclusive. They're less noise, more substance. Like they're doing it a little different.
But Miami's always been flash. Miami's always been flash. It's been cocaine. It's been white jackets. It's always been the things, right? It's always been.
I'm not making an allegation, whatever. We're not making this all opinion, all of our personal opinion only.
Miami is extra. Miami's always been extra. Vegas is extra.
It's more Vegas. Yeah, it's like Vegas. But
it's a thing.
I'll say this super quick. But what you said, and that's a really good point, Raphael, is that certain people went to people self-selected, right? Certain people went to Austin, certain people came here. But I mean, if you're conservative or Republican or even sort of an independent, did you feel like you were getting pushed? You were part of that thing. I mean, I saw people that were getting pushed that were like no experience. They didn't have an MBA. They didn't have any experience. They didn't have a JD from a top school. They didn't have experience in tech or VC, but they were pushed, and because they were the right, it was a certain class, and it's like. It was almost literally like taking Dillian Asparough's quote, let's bring Silicon Valley to Miami, without understanding that the opportunity was to do something different. Then and to create so the way that
Silicon
Florida
Valley isn't exactly the world's most inclusive place. I don't know if you've been there, but it's
I know I worked there.
That. Anyone would tell you that. We all get it.
No, right. Now, just to circle back on this. Yes, in the last election, or one of the, this may be 2018, Ron DeSantis got 4,076,000 votes. In the last election, 2021, Mayor Suarez got 21,485 votes. Little different. So the idea is a political heavyweight is going to take over everything. Listen, maybe, dude. I mean, Mayor Pete, first of all, that's super duper rare. Probably like one of the first times that's ever happened. Second of all, how's Mayor Pete doing? How's that working out? I mean, come on, dude. This is what I'm saying. Like before, we had this breath. And again, who's putting that out? You think every single, again, I know politics and I know media, and I'm not making any allegations, but you think every single newspaper reporter like, oh, let's talk about this. Hey, are you running for office? Are you running for president? Come on. Oh, the political future. Like, okay. What political future? If you're a Republican, like, how are you voting for this dude that punked out DeSantis? Are you voting for this dude that punked out other people? I mean, and again, now if you don't code, if you're retired in Miami, how you rent? How you feeling about that? About your rent just going up 50%? You're not happy. How do you feel about traffic being worse?
How do we bring the jobs that matter? That's what I think the mayor has done an okay job of doing in terms of the people that I've worked. I think he's done an okay job of trying to bring in enough people who can bring in ideas around him because, let's face it, at the end of the day, most of the people in charge of cities and states and governments don't have a good handle on emerging tech, and that's not their fault, right? They didn't have school. It didn't exist. Some of them couldn't program a VCR. They weren't going to understand Web3. But he's done a decent job, in my opinion, of trying to bring the people around him to help him form his decisions. Now, the fact that humans batch sort and click on their own, we're going to get some of that. And Miami's been clickish since, forever.
Oh, yeah.
Forever.
Well, yeah. But what I'm saying is they act like they're like I won't name names. Umer knows some of the names. We both know the names, but we all know the names. But it's like, oh, like they're the experts now. Experts on NFTs, experts on metaverse. Like, bro, and then I'm supposed to listen to some people with zero experience. I don't even know if some of these people can drive yet. I mean, like what the heck are you talking about? Like, I mean, like if you wanted to take this as serious business, we need some people that are serious, right? And you're the experts now. I mean, just having an avatar with they went from laser eye avatars to Bitcoin avatars to NFT avatars, and pretty soon we're going to see the Oculus and the VR. I mean, all within the span of like 6-8 months. It's insane, dude. I mean, it can't be any more hypey.
Miami fashion.
It is.
Meet at the bar and just ride the wave.
I mean,
but I don't want to be. I think, but I will say
what happened in Miami was what Miami is known for, right? Miami, everybody goes to Miami, goes, well, we'll do this, and then you get there and you're like, well, we're doing this. When tech got to Miami, they were like, wow, it's that kind of party. I don't know if I wear the right pants, right? Yeah. I need a white linen suit, and we're doing this. And I think it jumped in with both feet, and it just took off running. There was hype from people who were making money from a little bit of knowledge and tech savvy to be able to get into certain things early and ride that wave. There are a lot of new millionaires minted. They went down there, they spent money the way that new millionaires do, and there was a big... That's
always been the story of Miami, a cool place for rich people to have fun.
Right. And
like Vegas.
Exactly. It's like Vegas, but they've got more... I don't want to say they got more brains. There probably is more masters and PhDs in Miami than there is in Vegas.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing. I have no idea.
But the argument can also be made, and Umer, you can answer this here. If you have a MBA or a PhD in computer science, when you got that PhD in computer science, blockchain probably didn't exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the problem is to be an expert now doesn't necessarily, right? This knows.
No, that's fair.
Knows everything. It's not what you know anymore. It's what you do with that knowledge. And I think what Miami did with that knowledge was say, hey, do you need an event where you can raise money and a party would help?
This is the problem. In the Miami tech scene felt to me like I'm glad you said that because it spurred something. It felt more like who you know rather than what you know. And that's a massive problem.
And that seems fair. But that seems fair almost anywhere. I'm in Austin quite a bit, and it's the same. A lot of that is the same.
Yeah.
You know, not what you know.
Well, and this is the problem. I mean, and that could be anywhere, but I mean, Silicon Valley was very, at least when I was there, was very, very, very different. Everyone's like, oh, there's no secret about Silicon Valley. If it's no secret, then bro, then how come you can't do it? I mean, the problem is that nobody wants to, the playbook is there, but nobody wants to do it. The playbook is get the best talent from all over the world, the universe, whatever, it doesn't matter. Everybody collaborate together, and you barriers to entry are low, and just start working and start crushing it. But the problem is that everybody wants to. People want to control things, and politicians. And the thing is what I've seen is the dude. I mean, a lot of these peeps, in my opinion, potentially want to hang out with people that either have a lot of money or celebrities. So we'll do a cafecito talk if you got a bunch of followers or something like that. Or you got a bunch of cash, or that's fine. But what about the people that are actually trying to do something interesting or something? I mean, it's like you're either rich or I mean, I don't know. It doesn't even matter. It's just listen.
I mean, for me, it's like, all right, the hype is there. Okay, now what? Like there's got to be incubators. There's got to be bringing some of these projects to life. People are
Launch House has done that.
And I'm going to continue to test it out because, I've got with Ashley and my partner Mark, we've got a whole bunch of projects that are coming to life that are going to need funding. I mean,
and you're going to hire in Miami, right?
SoftBank,
well, that's a good. Let's we can't. We gotta be careful.
Right.
We can't promote on LinkedIn stuff, but live. But I think, and I want to be careful with that. But that you bring up a really good question. If you're starting something now, regardless of personal stuff aside, like if you've got a house in Miami or whatever like that, would you want to start it in Miami? Would you start it in Austin, Silicon Valley, Tampa? Tampa. I mean, how do you? God.
Tampa all day, because you've got the weather.
Yeah.
You don't have the same cost. And the type of jobs that I want to see created in blockchain run anywhere from $20 to $100 an hour. I want people in the middle who can provide a better life for their children, hands down. In 6 months of learning to code or learning Python or be a smart contract or learn to run nodes, service, there's a lot of jobs. When we talk about emerging tech, my family's in manufacturing, has been for a long time. And people are always worried. They're like, dude, there's going to be no more blue collar jobs. I'm like, are you kidding me? For the next 15 years, we're going to need to bend more pipe, run more cooling, pour more concrete, build places to put computers and racks and ASICs. And dude, we need all the stuff. That's going to be done. I can tell you what, the guys who code are probably not the same guys who are going to be bending the pipe, laying the foundations for concrete. These jobs are there. Those are the jobs I want people in. And when they're there, when they're done, I want them to be able to learn in a way that they can skill up so they can continue to do that. In Tampa is Minnesota, because I'm in Minnesota. There are states where it's still feasible. The best part is everything's distributed now. Dude, we're doing this.
Right.
It doesn't matter where we go.
Exactly.
All this stuff. So the idea of having to go to Miami to get the additional value, if you were a CEO, if you were a founder, if you were an exec, if you were a VC, go to Miami. But if you are someone looking for the jobs, go to your computer, because you're not even going to probably check the address of who signs your check. You're not even going to read the check because, hey, we have direct deposit. And a lot of these companies, it's going right into your wallet. It's not even going through a fiat bank anymore. There's so many things where location is not going to be an issue anymore. And I think Miami has done well for its time, but they're trying to look like Silicon Valley, like you said, whereas they have the opportunity to look like old Silicon Valley. Half the guys at Fairchild Semiconductor were the children of immigrants, right? We want children of immigrants again. Miami can do that. And Miami, I think, is going to try to do that, because now that the NFT hype, the 21 is now the season of the DAO. Now it's about work. Now it's about value. Right. And when Miami gets involved in DAOs and value and the people building real metaverses or building, coding.
There is the Miami DAO, by the way.
There is. And the city's coin, there's a bunch of stuff. They're trying to do it right, but I got to be honest, I just don't think we gave the politicians the right tools to deal with what they got.
Tampa, Sarasota has better beaches too. Mayor Castro, they do. Mayor Castro.
Petty, John.
I know it's not, but it's just but I'm saying if the play is lifestyle, would you rather have less traffic, about the same weather, right? Maybe less hurricanes and better. Not that I'm a meteorologist or I'm making any predictions. And better beaches, and you've got a mayor in Mayor Castro. She seems pretty cool and doing a lot, right? Yeah, and she's doing some stuff. And also you've got Amazon there, Microsoft there, you've got St. Pete. I mean, all these
Kathy
different...
Wood just came down and she brought all her people from ARC.
Yeah, and so it's like you have a lot of different... That entire region is doing stuff. It's not just like one downtown development authority, and then you've got these other wannabe Me Too's. Oh, don't forget about Palm Beach. Don't forget about Broward. Dude, how can I forget when I haven't even thought about it?
Oh my God.
Stop, dude. I mean, oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah,
dude, I'm just... I know.
John, it seems to me like you're frustrated. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a like a people expert, but
it's been brewing for a while.
It's been brewing for a while, and I've been trying to be super cool and very diplomatic and stuff. But the thing of it is here's the thing. When I posted that thing, nobody except for Umar responded to me. But lots of people looked at it, and they can kind of tell, like, who, you have, like, oh, I think this could be this person, stuff like that on LinkedIn. They're pretty cool like that. And it's like, yeah, there's nothing to say. It's nothing but early on when they were drinking the Kool-Aid, I'd say that, oh, no, we some of the people that were in the, come on, John, I think that, and then there's no response now. They know in their heart of hearts, like you said, that party, like, different vibe night, they know in their heart of hearts, it's over. You're done.
Do you think this is similar to Silicon Valley? Go ahead, Umar. Do you think this is similar
I was just gonna say, like, I want it to happen. Like, I want it to be like the next Silicon Valley, and that might not be good for everyone, but at the same time, I went out, I studied the stuff, I got into space. It's what I'm interested in now. It's what I see my future in, and I think we have a chance. I hope we have a chance, and I think Suarez has done a really good job of building the foundation for it. I just want to see more develop and less hype now. You know what I mean?
Let me be clear. First of all, this is no diss and this is no punk out of the founders or the people here or the people of Florida or South Florida or 305 or anything like that. I love all you guys, right? Anyone doing something, I've always said my wife, because some of my wife's like, I don't want to get in trouble, but she's a little bit more of a perfectionist and stuff. I'm like, listen, never, the old saying, never let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Sometimes my stuff's not whatever. Something beats nothing. They were out there doing stuff. Something always beats nothing. And they were out there. Yeah, they were out there. I mean, credit where credit is due. I've never seen there was major mistakes that I've outlined, and there's still major mistakes. And I think in some ways that has absolutely capped and limited this from becoming a real movement into more of a moment and stuff like that. But I think that Suarez was able to do things that were phenomenal and was very, very innovative in certain approaches for a politician, right? I mean, it's all just normal sort of PR business stuff, but for a politician. And I also think that now there is a viable tech presence. I don't know that I would call it a hub. I mean, here's the thing.
It's different. It's from the NFT, right? NFT
right.
was what
I like the way you put that. I think it's a sector. It's a sector.
Silicon Valley had the internet bubble, right? Once the internet bubble popped, do you remember what Silicon Valley was like for a couple of years?
Oh, I was there. It was rough.
Okay.
Rough.
So, but Silicon Valley was able to build on that. Now, sadly, it built a bunch of large centralized companies who maybe don't have our best interest all the times at heart, and we're trying to solve that. I think Miami got caught up in the cash of the NFT hype, of crypto. Everybody got it, right? Dude, I know people who don't. I always use this example. I know people who don't know how to program a VCR, but learned to buy NFTs because they were so greedy they wanted to get in them. Okay, that was the NFT people found Miami. It was open, it was ready, and they're like, "Look, we got money to burn." Miami's like, "We'll take that money." The mayor stepped in and did what he could to do all of the things, and he's trying to bring in real stuff. And I get that. Now that hype from the NFT money is gone, and we have to find real, actual solutions, real tools in the money that we've raised. We got to really build something. Now I think is honestly the best moment for all of those people who are, in your words, unproven, untested. Those people now have a moment with him. All of the eyes are looking at them. People like you are doing podcasts and talking about, hey guys, I've got suggestions. I've got real ways that we can change this. And they hear this, right? Whether they
oh, for sure. They all know. They know, believe me, they know who I am.
What I want to see is what happens in this moment.
Yeah.
This is the moment. 22, hands down. In my opinion, 22 is going to be the year. Right here, right? I'll be 40 this year. I got a 2-year-old Umair's killing it. John's killing it. You got a new home base. Guys, we're doing these things. Now that the greedy money isn't here, the people who are not here for a couple $1,000 a day, that are here for the $100 a day, couple $100 a day work, that are willing to sweat, do the things, build the things, lose the money, lose the founding, lose all the stuff, burn the runway, figure it out. I want to see what they build. And I think with the team that they have, and hopefully my understanding is I've never want to be a politician because no matter what, 50% of people hate you. The fact
Especially
is,
now, everything's so ridiculous. Everything's
right.
so crazy.
Those guys are there because they really truly believe that they can help the places that they live in. They're not going to do anything that's direct.
Or they want the office.
Or they want the office. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
The office is worth something. And if you can use your sway for the right reason, I think there's enough people around him personally, at least that I know and or are familiar with, that are in his ear helping him to do the right thing. And this year is going to be that decision. When the NFT hype is down and people are not trying to get out of COVID, they're not trying to run away from stuff. They're like, hey, we're here for the work. We're here for the stuff. Now we're going to see. Right?
But this is the problem. It's the problem. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you said there. And listen, now, like I said, when I was here in 2011, 2014 before, there was really nothing there. Now there's something there. Now you could say, hey, I'm going to Miami to try to break into the tech, but I think you're right. It's very much sector. It's very much NFT, blockchain, crypto, more crypto, NFT. But the problem of it is you know, when Miami had, in terms of venture capital deployed, early on I did something on this and people were like, oh, I had the data, and they were 11th. And it's the 7th largest metro in the U.S., but they were 11th in VC money. Oh, we did great. Everybody did great last year, and I had that as a story too. And so guess what? Guess where they were at the end of last year for Q4 and the whole in year 2020 after the tweet heard around the world? 11th, no change, right? And now that's my personal opinion. If I recall correctly, maybe I have the data a little bit wrong. I got to recheck that. But I mean, and I don't take glee in that. It's more of a.
No, it's just no change. You just saw it as chattel. It was just something in the wind.
Here's the point. Two things. One is, I still have a problem with Mayor Suarez shouldn't be leading this movement. Period. And it's not a punk out for him. But when you've got a mayor,
no politician should.
Correct. That's my point. That's my point. That's my point. You shouldn't have the mayor of one little, there's like 11 cities, Umar knows more. There's like all kinds of different mayors, even just in that 305 area. You shouldn't have one mayor. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Miami, there's Miami-Dade mayor, the county, there's South Miami, there's South Beach, Miami. I mean, it's like we should not have one small downtown, mayor leading any kind of tech movement, number one, because invariably, if you're a politician, it's going to get political. Period. End of story. It's unavoidable, right? That's the nature of that whole thing, because at some point they're thinking about the next office, the next election, and whatever it is, and it's just, and that was a big problem with this. Is the thing of it is that if you're, and I understand where Mayor Suarez is coming from, and politically, in that. I think, okay, so I'll say, and I know you guys got to go. I'll just say this real quick. Ron DeSantis, couldn't get elected mayor of Miami, okay? But the problem of it is that the electorate in Florida, because of this migration and because of the events of the last year, has shifted dramatically. I mean, we've seen shifts in independents and other groups of 30-40% towards the Republicans, unseen before. And so the electorate totally moved. So I think Mayor Suarez thought he had this Nikki Haley lane, this John McCain lane, and that lane, that became a plank that's like Wile E. Coyote that ran over the cliff when it was smoke, and you look down and there's nothing there. And I'll say this very quickly. You cannot be to the left of Senator Rubio and think you're going to do national anything. And you see how fast Senator Rubio moved, right? He was the old, Jeb Bush, that Nikki Haley type of thing, and that's over, dude. That's over. And then so it's just it's not viable there. So I think Mayor Suarez has to find a way to, if he wants to personally be involved, because here's the thing, he's a part-time mayor too. He has a regular job. He's like he does other things. So if he wants, I'm not saying don't be involved, but I think you've got to find if you really want to grow it, you've got to find a way to get yourself and even the Venture Miami team out of it to be able to let this thing grow. It cannot be led by you, and I don't know that it's led by anybody. right? I mean, Silicon Valley's not led by, there's not one person I go to get it hooked up in Silicon Valley. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
The legislation, though, that would empower all of us to do things like a sandbox law like North Carolina, or some of these things that made Miami a sort of a tech safety hub where you didn't have to apply for DeFi licensing, some of the insurance stuff for the first 2 years of a business. I mean, there are some things that I think that I've heard other states do that Miami is considering doing because the whole state won't do it yet. These are the types of things that, in my opinion, I'm going to wait a little bit here, because now that we're after the holidays, right? Everybody's put on their weight. We got to get back in the gym. We had all of our partying, all of our food, all of our NFT.
Terrible.
Everybody ate up third quarter, fourth quarter last year. Now we're going to see who's here to play.
Right.
It's not easy.
And I said this online too. Like, I waited. I could have gone to all these different events, and I got the newsletters, I got the invites, and I just waited. I waited, and I said, you know what? I'm letting this hype settle down, because, like you said, now's the time to step in if you're ready to do some real stuff. Now's the time to get involved. So listen, I'm very optimistic overall. I think there's been some great gains. I think credit where credit is due. But I think if there's really an attempt to make Miami a bona fide, full-fledged, broad-based tech hub, let alone a world-class tech hub, there's a lot of work. And again, I'm not punking anyone out. It's just a testament of who thought it was anywhere near realistic. Pandemic, whatever aside, that you were going to somehow eclipse Silicon Valley in a year. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. It takes time. You have to, it's just like, no, it's a great thought, but I mean, it's like, first of all, this would never, ever happen. But let's say that I had some, reasonable level of potential pro talent, whatever, for NFL or something like that. But I hadn't trained and I hadn't taken a snap, whatever like that. Dude, I'm not going to just immediately get in the game and be ready for the Super Bowl and be ready to take Tom Brady's spot. Like, it's just that's not feasible. That's not feasiable, right? And it's like, it sounds crazy when you think about it. You know what I mean? That's like me telling Mayor Suarez, hey, you know what? I think I could do this. I think I can I'm pretty good at social media and some tweets or something like that. I think I can be mayor. How would he feel about that? Right? He would laugh at me. Right? Yeah, so just like, you got to respect the game, dude. Go ahead.
You got valid points, John, and I agree with that part of it. But hey, game's not over yet. So
No, it's just starting. The way Raphael says, just starting. Go ahead.
Dude, we're still warming up. Literally, people didn't even realize which sport they were playing, some of them in crypto, in blockchain, until last year. People are like, oh, you're in Bitcoin, right? I said, no, I'm blockchain. They're like, oh, you're NFT crypto, right? I'm like, no, blockchain. They're like, I don't understand what you do. I'm like, don't worry, Mom, it's not important. I said, all of the stuff underneath it is what I do. I said, but there's a lot of people that I go in there and I talk to them. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're chatting about, some sort of DeFi, we're talking about just different ways to do things. I was like, a bonding curve didn't literally exist 18 months ago. And now we're talking about changes to actual economic theory here in the way that currency or stores of value move.
Now, what's interesting, and I'll say this real quick to wrap up. You guys have been very kind with your time. I know you have to go, and I carried you over, but we got to a 60-minute show, which is good. I appreciate that, at least 6 minutes. Listen, the biggest challenge, honestly, in my opinion. Well, first of all, I am very optimistic on overall long term on Miami tech, but moreover Florida tech. Right, I think I like that I-4 corridor between Orlando and Tampa, Sarasota. I think St. Pete. I think that is the spot in a lot of ways. But I think Gainesville, Jacksonville is a lot. I mean, I think to make that point, I think that there's an opportunity in the ways that I already talked about and illustrated, and I think that it would be interesting to see what the state does and DeSantis and his team. But I think that Mayor Suarez's in Miami Tech, in some way, main competition is going to come from their success in the PR, in the hype, and all that type of stuff. Because other cities, other mayors have seen this and say, hey, we got to get involved in this game too.
The rise of the crypto mayor.
It's happening. It's happening. Yep. It's happening. And so when every city's in that game, and let's say I'm conservative, almost libertarian, whatever like that, and I feel like or it doesn't have to be, again, I hate to all this stuff, jobs, tech, everything should be non-political, right? But if I feel like, hey, maybe Tennessee's going to be easier for me to get in the mix, or maybe Austin, or maybe Tampa, or maybe whatever, then you're going to see these people moving around, right? People are going to vote with their feet, just the same way they did with Miami. So the problem is the success of Miami can evaporate very quickly, and now you've got other people that understand the playbook. Just like when Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, all of a sudden you see over a dozen people, I think, broke it, in the subsequent years. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. But anyway, I really appreciate you all's time. I'll wrap up and sign up on the show, but I want to leave you guys time. What else? You want to say anything in closing here, Umer, Raphael?
No, I just want to say in true Miami fashion, I'm about to enter a NFT meeting.
Fantastic. I love it. Well, for Umer Khan and Raphael Moyden. Okay, I got it. Now that I heard. Okay, Moyden, I really appreciate it. I'm John D. Villarreal. This is our episode here. We'll have them on again. These guys are great. This is awesome. We'll have a little more preparation. I was hurrying to try to get everything together here, but this is the John D. Villarreal Show. Please rate this video up. Please share it on your social media. Thanks so much. I will see you next time.